Hello and welcome. You are watching News 9 Live. I'm Krishna Kumar, being joined by Ajit Vijay Kumar in the studio, and we are discussing the controversy has erupted in Tamil Nadu over Dahi or curd or Tair as it's called in the Tamil language. Controversy erupted in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu after the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, the FSSAI, directed milk federations and dairy producers across the country to rename their products. And according to that FSSAI directive, curd or Tair in Tamil will now have to be labeled as Dahi, the Hindi word for it, in both Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. The change in labels was meant to apply to products like cheese and butter as well. And immediately after the directive, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin hit out at the National Food Safety Authority for imposing Hindi. And now, after all the pressure that has been built up, the FSSAI has now withdrawn the order following the pressure and the protests over it. Let's first listen into the political reactions and we'll come in.
You spoke about Nandini, sir. The Nandini issue, and you said backdoor tactics imposition of Hindi doesn't work.
Printing in Hindi language, Nandini Dahi. That's actually, I'm telling, these are all in future how they will going to slowly change the KMF, our own strength to Gujarat. How to they wanted to transfer it. Further, they are working out.
Do you think, sir, the Hindi imposition?
Right, that was the Kumaraswamy, H.D. Kumaraswamy, talking about the issue over there. Let me take this across to Ajit Vijay Kumar, who's with us in the studio. Ajit, the language wars, are something that keeps erupting in this country. And this particular directive, the moment you heard of it, there was some problem with it. And now, obviously enough, there was enough pressure built up. And clearly, the FSSAI has seen the problem with a move like this. Because after all, they want to rename and relabel the products to be sold in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Why would you call it Dahi and sell it to people in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka?
Of course, the fundamental point here is that how does it matter? Eventually, right? Eventually, if it is curd, in a broader sense, and if in North India we call it Dahi and people in Tamil Nadu, they want to call it Tair, what's the problem? Eventually, what is the problem? That's what the problem is, right? And
why does it have to be one naming, one thing, one for everything? When we are clearly such a vibrant, varied country.
Right, of course. And, this whole idea about imposition, and I don't think so that, they would have done it purposefully from the larger political angle of Hindi and all that.
Yeah.
But then there's this whole sentiment that people carry, at least in the north, that Hindi should be the primary language. I think that's something that we should do away with and take respect in the diversity that our India, our country is actually.
Yeah, take respect, respect the diversity of this country. We have Ram Kumar and Prajwal D'Souza also joining us on this particular live broadcast here on News 9 Live. I'm going to take this across to Ram Kumar. Clearly, that move would have definitely not gone down well had it been implemented with the people of Tamil Nadu. When you go and we're talking about the brand over here is Avin, which is the state cooperative dairy brand of Tamil Nadu called Avin. And the FSSAI directive means that it will be called Avin Dahi. And that would have clearly been extremely problematic in Tamil Nadu. Ram Kumar.
Yeah, absolutely. The new directive from the central government organization did not gone down well with the Tamil Nadu government, with the chief minister and DMK president M.K. Stalin immediately, calling this as unabashed Hindi imposition. And the new directive from the FSSAI, to the state-run cooperative society, Avin to label Dahi instead of the local language Tair. So, in fact, M.K. Stalin immediately reacted to this directive and condemned that this is yet another attempt of the central government to impose Hindi on the non-Hindi speaking states. And also he gone ahead and said that he tried to politically build this out and saying that the attempt of the central government to impose Hindi on the non-Hindi speaking state and those who are responsible for this efforts should be banished from the southern state. So with the local Lok Sabha elections due next year, M.K. Stalin is trying to build up this the Hindi imposition as a collective narrative for the non-Hindi speaking state. So, and also it is notably the Tamil Nadu, one of the forefronter in opposing Hindi. And whenever there is the political parties, especially the DMK, feel what it is being called Hindi imposition through various means. Even in the past, in the various attempts when Amit Shah have insisted on one language, one India policy, DMK was the first party to sharply come up with strong reaction against this. Not only DMK, irrespective of all the political parties, including ADMK, PMK, DMDK, and other CPM, VCK, and all other parties have strongly opposing the Hindi opposition. And especially in this row of Hindi opposition, the Tamil Nadu BJP unit chief K. Annavale even wrote a letter to FSSAI asking to roll back the new directive. So he in fact returned to the chairperson of FSSAI and now seeking the rollback of this new directive. He knew that the Tamil, it affects the Tamil sentiments because Tamil Nadu has always have a long history of anti-Hindi protest.
Right. Fair enough. Absolutely. It's interesting to note that even the BJP Tamil Nadu president wrote to the chairman of FSSAI asking for that rollback of the directive because it would have clearly been disastrous. Let's now take this across to Prajwal D'Souza, who joins us live from Bengaluru. Prajwal, it's called Mosaru in Kannada, where you come from in Bengaluru. It is called Tayir in Tamil. It is called Tayir in Malayalam also. It is called Perigu in Kannada. The word, so many words for one thing in India. Why do we need to restrict ourselves to only one is the question that's often asked.
Right. Good evening, Krishna and Ajit. So first, what we need to understand here is the fact that along with opposing the word Dahi being used, one thing which the FSSAI in its earlier directive mentioned using the word Dahi prominently and using its alternatives in your regional languages, Mosaru, which is its Kannada equivalent, in brackets. Now, along with using the word Dahi primarily and not giving much importance to its Kannada equivalent, has triggered this Hindi imposition row in Karnataka. Now, we have seen reactions coming in from Kumaraswamy, who was, in a tweet, he also said that knowing that Kannadigas are opposed to the imposition of Hindi, it is wrong at the part of FSSAI to issue such a directive. Now, prominent Kannada activists like Arun Javgal has also said that Union government of India is not only the government of Hindi speakers. If you just take a look around Twitter as well, you can see similar reactions from people in Karnataka, people in the capital Bengaluru, where they're opposed to this FSSAI directive. Now, once it has been withdrawn, now what the central agency is suggesting is that to use curd prominently on the milk packets and use its regional alternatives, be it Dahi in Hindi, Mosaru in Karnataka, and similarly for Tamil Nadu in brackets.
Right. I'm going to bring this back to Ajit Vijay Kumar, and that's really the crux of it, isn't it? Like, what is the prime? What is the main language? And those attitudes are difficult to break down, because it's been built up over a period of time. There is nothing called as main or prime. Every language is important to the people that they speak, isn't it, Ajit?
Of course, and just to go back a bit into history also, I think it all started, of course, during the British era. And this whole idea about Dravidian theory and Aryan theory, that kind of has triggered all that we see today.
Yeah.
Even 100 years after that. And the central theme here that one should kind of imbibe when we talk about India is that while Hindi is a very good language, I am very comfortable with Hindi as well.
So am I.
Yeah.
I come from Chennai, so am I. I love the language. It's a beautiful language.
Yeah, but then the point here is that I chose to learn it.
Yeah.
That choice should be left with people and not be imposed on people, because eventually you need English frame there also, because someone who has come outside from Karnataka of course, for him to understand that this is Kurd, it's important to have it, but then the primacy should be given to the regional language.
Yes.
And of course, in terms of the political play that, what we saw M.K. Stalin and Kumaraswamy saying, of course, they are trying to make a beautiful Tahir Sadam out of this Kurd, right?
You can go on with the puns, they are trying Tahir Sadam, incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, the word Tahir Sadam means curd rice. It's a favorite dish amongst many South Indians, across South India. In fact, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka. In Karnataka, it's called mosaranna, which is curd rice. So that's what he's saying, that it's a very favored dish, and this entire anti-Hindi is a very favored dish amongst politicians in the South.
Absolutely.
And they're actually cashing in on this.
Absolutely.
But the fact of the matter is that why give them the opportunity? How did this FSSAI directive, where did it come from in today's day and age? OTT, cinema, North Indians watching Hindi movies, all that kind of things are happening. This seems to be coming from another era altogether.
Of course, I think someone sitting in some office, someone suddenly had a brainwave to put out is my assessment of it. Okay. Because I don't think so that government would particularly want to do something.
This is not exactly a government-led thing.
I think so, because Modi, Prime Minister Modi himself have been quite a good advocate of promoting regional languages.
Exactly.
And I want to give you an example of it. Right, I think it was a few months back that this Kashi Tamil Sangamam was held.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and Prime Minister Modi was there, and there's this very famous Tamil movie called as Nan Kadavul.
Nan Kadavul, which was shot in...
Correct.
Yeah, in
and one of the most famous songs, Om Shivovam, was rendered by none other than
Ilayaraja
there at Kashi Sangamam.
In Tamil.
Right?
Yeah.
And the entire audience in Banaras, they were all in rapt attention, said, oh, fabulous, right?
Yes.
So I think...
We live in that day and age right now.
But importantly, I think one more thing, and that this has to come from people down south, is that you have to have that cultural pride and be able to and want to project it outside your state borders.
Yeah.
People in south, primarily in Tamil Nadu, I will say, and in Karnataka to a certain large extent, people are so contented in their state and their culture that they don't want to take it out.
Yeah.
I think they should take it out more so that people across the country, especially north, have more respect and more knowledge about
understanding of that's what we need. Yeah. That's what creates you're talking about the Prime Minister and the government. You have a Prime Minister who's been repeatedly going on and on about the oldest language in this country is Tamil, and he has said it on many occasions. Correct. I mean, let's not fight for the oldest, but the point is that here you have a Prime Minister from Delhi who, we haven't heard too many Prime Ministers talk about another language apart from Hindi or Sanskrit having any kind of significance in this country. And the fact of the matter is that the Tamil as a language is as old as Sanskrit, if not older. And you take the Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada and Telugu as one entity, which existed and evolved over a period of time. It's important for the national polity to understand, these cultural roots are from thousands of years before. One directive from FSSAI can't come in and intervene with that.
And as you rightly said, thanks to OTT, now that there is so much of more respect for southern regional languages and cinema and art and culture. Course. I think this idea is something that politicians, and if not politicians, at least people down south should take a cue of and kind of try and project more across the country, if not outside.
Let me take this across to Ramkumar. Ramkumar, the problem is that we can keep discussing how language needs to flow in this country, but the fact of the matter is that for political parties, this anti-Hindi stance becomes a very easy plank for them to step on. Especially considering the fact that you have a national elections around the corner next year.
Yes, absolutely, because anti-Hindi protest, one of the key elements that the Dravidian parties have come to power in Tamil Nadu way back to 1967. The TMK founder, C.N. Annadure, the former chief minister, and Periyar have launched a huge protest in Chennai against the Hindi imposition. And since then, whenever there is a kind of Hindi language introduced or making mandatory to usage of Hindi, the Dravidian party, TMK, current stage, yes. And
Ramkumar, we'll have to fix the audio and get back to you. We're not able to hear you properly. We'll have to fix the audio and get back to you, Ramkumar. We will get back to Ramkumar. Meanwhile, let me take this back to Prajwal, who continues to be this in the podcast. Prajwal, as far as anti-Hindi agitations go, Tamil Nadu is extremely famous for it. It's been famous for it ever since the Dravidian movement began 5 decades ago. As far as Karnataka is concerned, we've seen this resurgence in the pride and the ownership of the Kannada language. And thanks to all the Kannada movies that are doing really well, the Kannada pride is flying at all-time high at this stage. And if you land in the Bengaluru airport, you can see Kannada signboards on every single store the moment you step out. There has been this, in Karnataka, a resurgence of owning up to the language and the culture, and clearly moves like this now today will create the same reactions in Karnataka as it does in Tamil Nadu.
Right, Krishna, we have seen it with a lot of Kannada movies which have been super hit as well. But I also agree with the point which Ajit raised earlier, that learning a language should be an option, right? And the problem which I see what's happening in Karnataka is that now to understand this anti-Hindi imposition route, if we even go back to the recent history, this was started where protests were taken out during the metro signboard issue.
Yes, the Namma Bengaluru metro signboard issue,
right,
which was a huge political hot potato when it erupted a couple of years ago.
Right, right. Now, following that, pro-Kannada activists also raised an issue where a lot of appointments in these nationalized banks were made to people from the northern part of India. Now, it is an issue because let's take large cities like Bengaluru and Mangaluru and all of them out of the context. I come from a small town in Dakshina Kannada. Now, when you have nationalized banks there, and when you have appointees made from people who don't speak Kannada, and in cases of these remote villages, a lot of people there don't even speak Kannada. For example, if I can give you some example of an village in Dakshina Kannada, there people speak prominently Tulu, and not a lot of people speak Kannada. So this issue of lack of communication, between the locals, the villagers, and these appointees in the nationalized banks have been going on for some time. We've been seeing videos also emerging where locals clash with these bank officials. Now, protests were also against Hindi Divas, which was celebrated in Karnataka. Now, one thing we need to understand here is that although people might think that this issue might resonate to electorate, one cannot say that it will actually resonate to translate to as an electoral pitch for a specific party. Now, all the three parties, including the BJP, have always said that they give prominence to Kannada. They have done it recently. A law was enacted giving prominence to Kannada. This renaming of these signboards. The recently inaugurated Whitefield KR Puram metro line, which the station was renamed to KR Pura, Krishna Rajapura. So this issue is a burning topic, and whenever in this case, directives from FSSIA come in and which trigger a row, people come together, but this doesn't really translate to an electoral pitch for either of the three major parties in Karnataka.
Right, and that's also a very important point to note over there, that all this anti-Hindi agitation, etc., doesn't really translate into votes, does it, Ajit Vijay Kumar?
Right. So I would like to thank Prajwal that he has said that it may not translate into votes, and I'll tell you why. Because while I am a strong opponent, a strong supporter of this cultural
language
pride,
diversity,
diversity, and we should have all pride. We should be extremely proud of
our languages
and our roots. Right. I'm a strong proponent of that. But eventually, at the end of it, the idea of India should reign supreme. So it should not lead to a point where you are using this as a divisive tactics, and that's what I worry about when these politicians play this anti-Hindi sentiment. Eventually, what you're trying to suggest is that like we already have so much of trouble with Khalistan. We don't want people to have that idea that okay, we are different, and the people in North India are different. Eventually, it should not lead to it.
Yes,
that's what the idea is.
Yeah, that's very important at this stage to note. The idea is to celebrate all things about India and allow all kinds of Indians speaking all kinds of languages to celebrate and celebrate together. That's the idea. The idea is not to go off separately.
Of course,
Tair is celebrated separately in Tamil Nadu. Mossar is celebrated separately in Karnataka. No, we all enjoy curd or yogurt or dahi or mossar, perugu, tair as you call it, and we should be able to celebrate it together in our own languages, and that's the point.
And the best example of it, I would suggest, many years back I had been to Jammu, and I saw a large Punjabi family there, come for dinner, and all of them were ordering South Indian dishes, right? All of them were eating idli, sambar, and masala dosa and uttappam. I was quite surprised, and it felt good as well. I said it felt good that if you can have that much of connect with the food from South. So likewise for people in South also, and I've seen that, and because you are from Chennai, I'm sure that you know that this Pani Puri is a huge rage in Chennai.
Oh, absolutely. That was the first, North Indian, so to speak.
All of them are from Rajasthan.
No, we've got all kinds of Pani Puri people coming over there. The good thing is, as the first chaat, or as it's called, I didn't realize it was called chaat. I didn't realize it was called that. I was just fascinated with that, and we tried that. No, the thing is that food and exchange has been going on for a very long time, and now thankfully you have culture exchange happening in the form of movies and music and all of that, and that's all hope here. That all of this doesn't allow the politicians to draw lines between us, because let's face it, the anger of the Tamil people against something like this is more symbolic. Why do you symbolically tell me that my language is secondary to something else? And that's what it looks like when you put something in the brackets. Why does something have to be in a bracket? And why something is not in a bracket? These kind of unnecessary symbolisms mess with the larger harmony that we're trying to work towards, isn't it?
Of course. Eventually at the end of it, the moment when everybody realizes that everything is equal, at least in terms of one's own self-belief and one's own self-belief systems, I think we would have a better world and better country.
Oh yeah, definitely. Prajwal, I just wanted to ask you quickly before we let you go. We've had a very strong backlash from the Tamil Nadu government, and that's the reason why this directive has been pulled back. What about Karnataka? From the government level, we've seen H.D. Kumaraswamy talk, but from the government level, have you heard anything on the matter?
No, not really. And since that directive has been taken off, I don't think they'll try to drag this matter forward.
All right. So clearly, from that end, please go ahead.
One thing I want to add here is the fact that when such things happen, there's sort of misconception that there's some sort of enmity between people in Karnataka regarding this Kannada, Hindi. It's not really like that. It depends on the way you try to communicate with people. I've seen a lot of times where my friends who are from northern part of India, they at least try to speak a little words in Kannada, or at least try to speak the language. That really helps, because people here are generally very welcoming, and they acknowledge that. Then they try to converse in the language which both of them know. I would say it's the same with Tamil Nadu as well. And I don't know Tamil Nadu, but when I went there a couple of years ago, I learned a few words and tried to engage with the shopkeepers in Tamil. And then they asked me that whether I was from Karnataka, and then they began speaking in English. So I would say it all depends on how people see this entire issue, and
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good point you make, Ajit. Isn't it? It's the attitude of Indians towards Indians and other Indian languages that's going to matter a lot. Forget about what the politicians tell you. Forget about all the political ramblings. We're calling this the South Dahi Dangal. Let the politicians do the Dangal, and find it out amongst themselves. But the people of this country need to know that this country is home to some of the greatest languages, the oldest languages in this world, and all of them need to be treated equally. And all the people speaking them, should be able to enjoy their language and also use it as well. And let's face it, when you go to a foreign country, if you want to immigrate to Germany, you go to some other country, what is the first thing they tell you? Please pass the German language examination, and then you can come in and take up any job and work in any other profession. Isn't that the case, Ajit? And learning local language is not exactly an Indian problem. It's in Europe, for example. Every country, in every border across, you have a new language. And all those countries, when they say when you come into the country, you want to go there and work, they say, please pass the language examination. You want to be in Paris, you better learn French. And it's only the Indians who feel like when you go to a new city or you say, oh, this is India, why should I learn the local language?
No, that's absolutely wrong, right? So, like, we are in Delhi, and it's quite important that we are well.
Yeah, us being South Indians, we should learn Hindi because we are in North India.
And that's why and likewise, and I've seen a lot of people from North who have settled in Bangalore. Now they speak fluent Kannada.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
It should be.
Yeah.
And coming to when we go outside the country, one thing all these people who talk about Hindi, non-Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, when you go out, then you have only one identity, and that's you are an Indian, right?
Right.
That's what it is, right?
Yes.
So one has to understand that eventually that's the idea that one should.
Exactly. So we are a Vishwa Roop called India, which is so many Roops make up this Vishwa Roop called as India. That's what we all need to remember. I'm afraid we completely run out of time here on this discussion. Ajit Vijay Kumar, thank you so much for joining us, and Prajwal D'Souza, thank you so much for joining in all the way from Bengaluru. And with that, it's a wrap here from my side. This is Krishna Kumar signing off. Keep it with News 9.